So I think last Friday was a really good start for me to reveal some of the really tough issues going on with me. But I think today I'm going to just have to bear all. I'm going to have to just let it loose and share what I really am struggling with, and whatever happens, happens. Let's take it from there. I got a lot of comments from last week's episode when I shared my struggle with obsessing over things like statistics and incessantly just checking stats and things, and it's crazy. But today I realized I want to share exactly what's going on. It's going to be even more than that, because I've had a lot of just this pent up stuff that's just taken place with me, and the mushrooms absolutely have helped me in an incredible way as far as anxiety and depression. I mean, really, every day I pretty much feel that I've got zero depression, and I'd say close to zero anxiety, almost none. However, has the anxiety taken another form? Because somebody, or more than one person, actually messaged on YouTube, commented on YouTube last week how checking stats is absolutely a form of anxiety, and that's absolutely true. So thanks for that. I mean, it's totally true, but it's deeper. It goes a lot deeper than that. I've got a lot more going on. I just want to say that if you're struggling with depression or anxiety, please listen. Thanks so much for being here. I appreciate it. Click the subscribe and make sure you get your notifications turned on so you don't miss any episodes, because we're just starting to get into this, guys. We're starting to get into the deep of this, because I figured, as much as I feel that the microdosing has helped me with typical anxiety and typical depression, there's a lot more work that I have to at least admit that I need. So, okay, I've decided that at this point, I think I started this show 3.5 years ago, and I've been a teacher for 3.5 years. I've been sharing my knowledge, my experience with magic mushrooms, and helping so many people all across this wonderful planet of ours feel better every single day. So I've been in that teacher mode. But the other night I was sitting somewhere, and I thought to myself, you know something? I think at this point the teacher might need to become the student or the patient, at least for a while. Because, okay, last week I shared with you about my obsession for checking statistics and checking mainly, my podcast statistics, but still financial statistics. In the COVID days, it was COVID statistics, presidential race statistics. It's horrible. It's really bad. And I got so many good messages and comments from people from last Friday, but it goes deeper. I think I've got 3 potential issues going on in my life, and nothing that's just happened overnight. Something that these have been going on for probably forever, but unchecked, they continue to haunt me. And the 3 categories I'm going to share with you are OCD. Now, when you think of OCD, you think of the type of person, and I think these are all spectrum, because you think of the type of person that washes their hands every second, that they don't get germs, they're really germophobic. I'm not like that at all. I'm not germophobic. I don't wash my hands incessantly. I do it probably less than most people. But there's a spectrum of OCD, and I think I'm somewhere on that spectrum. And somebody that knows me, I don't even think my wife knows this. I don't think my best friends know this, but I always need to check things. And like I said, statistics and checking my email to make sure I didn't get an email in the past 15 seconds because I just checked 15 seconds ago, and checking all kind of things on my phone. My phone, I wish I could hold it in front of me, but I'm using it to record right now. It has become the enemy. It's really bad. I'm addicted to my phone, and I can admit this. It's horrible. I don't know what to do. Whenever I have it on and I'm not doing something that would preclude me from checking it, I'm pretty much checking it, and it's horrible. And I'm going to have to work on this. Absolutely have to work on this one. So that's the first category, OCD. And here's another thing. And now this is something that's been going on with me for a long time. It's probably part of OCD. And I don't think I've ever told anybody this. And you would say, oh, that's not a big deal. But I think everything is related, like I've always said. So let's say, for example, if I buy something, I'm just going to totally make this up. I buy a t-shirt, and I really like the t-shirt. At some point, I determine that, okay, I like this t-shirt. One's not enough. So I have to go out and buy at least one more, just so I have two of the same thing. In case something happens to that first one, I'll have another one right there. A pair of pants, same thing. If you go in my closet, I pretty much have doubles of everything, simply because I got one pair, I liked it a lot, I felt like I needed a second pair. And this can go for anything. I can't think offhand of like a pen. I get a pen, like an expensive pen, and I love it. But I guess on some level, I don't want to lose it. I'm afraid to lose it. I'm afraid something's going to happen. So I go out and get another one that's I also use it. It's waiting in the wings in case something happens to my first one. I can't even imagine how much money I would have saved over the years if I didn't have to get double of all these things. It's crazy. So there's definitely some type of OCD spectrum which I'm on. There's no question about that. The second is ADHD, attention deficit. I'm sure I've had this all my life, but maybe the mushrooms are pointing me in the direction of finally starting to realize this. I have a difficult time tuning into certain things. And for example, if I'm out with my wife somewhere and we're in a conversation and there's somebody, let's say we're at a restaurant and there's somebody at the next table or the next booth and somebody's got like a voice that's like piercing through my skin. I lock into that and I can't release it. And it's like she's talking to me and she knows I zoned out and I'm in like I'm in another world because I locked into this other conversation and I just can't unlock it, and it's horrible. Or I'll just start thinking of something else and I can't release that thought, and that thought will lead me to more thoughts. And so I can't concentrate on one thing. I remember when I was in school, I couldn't concentrate in class because the teacher would be talking about something and my brain would be thinking about something else. And I guess maybe this is one of the reasons I've been very, very creative my whole life. I say extremely creative. I think on things on certain levels that maybe other people can't even think on. And I'm not saying that I'm a genius. I'm not saying that I'm better than other people in any way, but I think on levels that maybe other people just can't think, don't think on. And it's a blessing and a curse. I'm definitely on this ADHD spectrum somewhere. I know that. I think I've always thought about this, but I've never been diagnosed and I just don't know the answer. I think the third thing is I'm on some type of maybe an autism spectrum, and I don't possess the typical traits of somebody that's autistic. I don't at all. Well, I can't say I don't at all. Some things I do. Like I like to have things in order. I don't like there to be surprises in my life. I like when I'm going out somewhere, I like to know where I'm going. I like to sometimes I'll even do a little recon to make sure the place is okay. Or I'll get there early to make sure I'm not locked out of getting a seat somewhere. This is the first time I've ever talked about any of this stuff, and it goes much deeper. But ADHD, OCD, maybe spectrum somewhere, maybe autistic spectrum. So I don't know about that one, but again, I really do have some of those traits. Noise bothers me a lot. noise, whether it's, oh my God, I can't even describe how horrible noise is and how bothersome it is to me, whether it's a loud siren going by, whether it's somebody at the next table talking, whether it's somebody on a plane or a train talking louder than I think they should be talking, and their voice is just piercing through me and I can't unlock it. And for example, if I find myself in a situation where I want to be, okay, like I'm in my car right now recording this, and I just ran a couple errands. I went into a grocery store and picked up some things, and I came out to the parking lot, and there was a car parked right in front of me. So in other words, as I'm looking out my front window here, there's a car parked facing me. And I wanted to do an episode. I wanted to record this episode. And to me, that was totally unacceptable. It's like, why did they violate my space? Why did they have the audacity to park right in front of me? It sounds so weird, but and if somebody pulled up right now, if a car pulled up right now next to me, it would be very bothersome for me, because I like to park away from everybody. Like right now, if you could see where I'm parked, like, you know, far away from the other cars in the parking lot. So if a car decided to park next to me here, which they'd have every right to do, it's a public park. I mean, it's a private, grocery store parking lot. They would have every right to park right next to me. But my thought process would be, all these spots around, why did you have to park near me? That's the way I think, and that's the way I've thought for decades. But I think it's gotten worse. And if I am going to, let's just say I'm going to breakfast somewhere. Again, I'm kind of making this up, but I'm not. And I sit down, let's say I'm by myself, I sit down at the counter, and I give myself some buffer so I'm not near anybody. And then somebody decides to sit next to me. It's really bothersome for me. So I'm thinking, like, why do you need to be next to me? And you might be saying, well, Dr. Dave, why would you ever sit at a counter? It sounds like your personality is not good for a counter, and you're right. But if all the tables are taken and that's the only place to sit and it looks like it's not too crowded, I'll sit there. But again, I'll try to give myself some buffer room. I'm not going to sit right down next to somebody at a counter. I can't do that. I can't do that. And then if somebody decides to plop themselves next to me, it's almost like I'd say, like why are you sitting next to me? Why do you want to sit next to me? Move a few spots down. I'm really troubled with this stuff. I need to ask the mushrooms to help me. This will be the next phase. Before I started microdosing, most days were really bad with depression and anxiety. And I'm being totally honest with you. And I know you trust me, because if I wasn't being honest, I wouldn't be spilling all this craziness that's been going on in my life for years. But I know you trust me with this. The anxiety and the depression daily is gone. Like, yes, sometimes I start to feel weird, because when we got kicked out of our house, I felt horrible for a month. But that was totally, I could pinpoint it to, there was a reason, there was a cause for that. I never, or it's very rare now that I would feel very bad for no reason. The mushrooms have worked wonders. But now they're showing me that there's so much more work I have to do. Because this ADHD, OCD, and the anxiety, the OCD is there's some type of anxiety involved there, but it's not the type of anxiety I feel. If you gave me a meter and said, and you could hook it up to me right now and ask me how anxious I feel right now, the meter would probably say close to 0. I don't feel anxious at all. But there is a type of anxiety that has me checking stats incessantly and checking my phone every 15 seconds. That's another type of anxiety, and I'm dealing with that now. And yeah, and the ADHD, and possibly the spectrum. For those of you that know anything about the autistic spectrum, because I think these are all spectrums, but if anybody knows about the autistic spectrum, let me know what you think. I mean, I like order. I really like quiet. Like, I feel that if somebody is my thought process is, why are you disrupting this peace and quiet that I so much deserve? Why? How dare you disrupt this peace and quiet? Even if it's in a public area, on a hiking trail. How dare you talk on a hiking trail? This is supposed to be quiet. I don't know. This is tough for me to deal with. Let me just check my notes to see if there's anything I left out, because I did make some notes about this before, because I didn't want to miss anything. I think I got it all for today. And I just want to say the outpouring of love from you from last Friday's episode was nothing. I never expected it. Never expected it like that. I thought people would just listen to it or watch it and say, another episode. But no, you guys really reached out in a big way, and you don't know how much it means to me. Because I am sharing stuff that I've never shared before. Like I said, I swear to you, my wife knows on some level about definitely about my ADHD, about how if I'm in a public place, I will lock into another conversation, or somebody that's loud really bothers. She knows that really well. However, I don't think she even knows that I incessantly check stats every 15 seconds. I don't know if she knows that. I'm not sure. She might. And then the autistic thing. I don't know. Maybe somebody would say, Dr. Dave, you're definitely not autistic. You're not on that spectrum anywhere, in any way, shape, or form. I don't know the answer. I don't know. And if I am somewhere, can magic mushrooms help any of these three? Well, I've been microdosing for 3.5 years, and I don't think they've helped my depression and anxiety big time, and other things. The way I see the universe, the way I'm very interested in quantum physics now, the way I see all that stuff, spirituality. Oh, they've really enhanced all that stuff, making me totally thankful for what I have. I couldn't be any more thankful. I'm like, I've got everything I've ever asked for, and I don't ask for much. So no, I'm not a billionaire. I don't want to be, but I've got what I've asked for, and that's good enough for me. So they've done wonders. They've done wonders for me. But these three remaining things, is it too much to ask? Should I be happy where I am? Okay, food for thought. Remember, check the show notes. I've got a lot of good links there. New episode every Wednesday and Friday. We got an election coming up now, which I know is stressing a lot of people out. We have so much to talk about. So I want to thank you so much for being with me. If I didn't ask you yet, make sure you subscribe, and make sure you click notifications so you don't miss anything, because I've only just started now. I feel like I've only just begun. Talk to you later. I'm Dr. Dave. See you next time. Love you.